going on stream? 1 second. We're getting started. We're getting started. 1 second. We're getting started. Alright, I'm here. Let's do this. I had some quick business. I had to attend to. Now we're here. I didn't plan on this being a very long stream, but we do have some interesting things going on right now, don't we? Let me turn down this music. Okay. What's going on, everyone? What happened to my YouTube chat again? What is wrong? Dude, OBS, it is so bad with this YouTube chat. Let me try something. Chat. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to open up YouTube. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. I'll have it open on my phone. Give me a second, guys. I'll have to read YouTube chat on my phone. All right. Problem solved. For now. What's going on? What's going on? Kyle from Door, Alabama's back. I'm doing good. Okay, here we go. Nice. Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? Let's get out of this. I don't even like split mode that much anyways. Look at this. Let's take a look at what we got in here. Well, these wins are whipping. Why are my settings on? Let me fix what my settings are on here. We've got a potential tornado on the ground. 70-mile-per-hour radar indicated winds. 2.5-inch radar indicated hail. Considerable damage threat. Severe thunderstorm warning right here. We also have some pretty good winds whipping through towards Higgins, Texas, Shattuck, I don't know, Shattuck, Oklahoma, Gage, Oklahoma, Arden, Oklahoma. But this is the main one we're looking at right here. Okay, so we're in DB here. Why are we in? Let me switch. Let me fix something in my settings real quick. Velocity unit. Yeah, can we do miles per hour? Thank you. Whoa. All right, well, our velocity is picking up 132 mile per hour winds right above the surface here. I don't know if that's accurate. Let's hope it's not accurate. That is, yeah, let's hope that's not. Let's hope that's just a little bit of radar distortion, which it could be. But let's take a look at a few other things here so we can tell. Stop this. Let's go to our differential. Not much here. It says radar indicated tornado. We very treat this like this is a tornado on the ground right now. You've got absolutely cranking winds in here. Luckily, it doesn't look like it's really headed towards anyone, except for I didn't know there was a Miami, Texas. Miami, Texas, I'd get in a safe spot if I were you. Interior of your home, bottom floor, away from windows, in a closet, in a storm shelter. I'd just get somewhere safe if you're in Miami, Texas. 3-inch hail earlier. Woo! You want a baby hurricane? GFS is seeing more hurricane potential out there, but you know, this has been a weird year so far. Like I said, though, I'm thinking late September, early October. That's going to be our window there. Got some storms up here rolling through Nebraska, too. Nothing severe. Nothing severe up there in Minnesota. All right down here where it's supposed to be in Texas and Oklahoma. The relaxing music with the tornado on the ground is so confusing. What do you want me to play? Death metal? I don't think that'd be very calming for you. What's going on, Michael Phillips? Yeah, only really city I see in the way right now is Miami, Texas. Not all the songs on play some. Not all the songs on this playlist are relaxing. It's just some non. It's a little. It's all kind of like chill though, yeah. Start playing "Ain't No Love in Oklahoma." Yeah, that's a great song. But yeah, if I start playing that, tornadoes are gonna pop up everywhere. I don't think we want that juju. I forgot to tell Discord I'm live. I'm sure one of my mods did. I wasn't gonna go live for very long, and I realized we did have some stuff cranking through here. It took me like 3 hours to mow my lawn today. It was getting so long. All right, would have been on a little bit earlier. We had a meteorologist from Tampa Bay, 28, give us a presentation on hurricanes today. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, anyways, guys, Western Oklahoma, Panhandle of Texas, keep paying attention. As I said right now, Miami and Mobeetie, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Texas. We very well could have a tornado on the ground right here. Okay, they've just extended this. Still radar indicated tornado, 2.5-inch radar indicated hail, 70-mile-per-hour radar indicated winds. But we're seeing, what's going on? Why is this not letting me switch to velocity? All right, well, WeatherWise is bugging. Let's close that out and reopen it if it's not going to work for me. You gonna let me switch to velocity now? Interesting. 1 second, guys. There must be a lot of people on WeatherWise. I know you can't see it. Let me get it back up. There must be a lot of people on it or something because it is not working. I can't even change what radar I'm looking at. There we go. All right. All right, we've calmed down a little bit. Yeah, I think it actually did. It just switch radar towers? Interesting. Something's going on with this right now. Otherwise, it's being a little buggy. Radar scope has 109 winds in that storm. Well, yeah. I mean, we just saw 132 mile per hour winds on WeatherWise. I said I don't know if that was accurate, but I mean, yeah, we WeatherWise had 132 miles per hour. I hope it wasn't accurate. Amarillo. Yeah. Typically, when you go like this is going to be the closest. This is going to be a farther one. So that's what it's doing, Amarillo. This should be that as well. It's sloppy, and I feel like this, if we did have a tornado, it's pulling off the ground. Marissa and NTX, I appreciate you guys. But we got to watch it. We got to watch it. Miami, Mobeetie, however you pronounce that.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
A new radar indicated tornado warning. I think that's the one that was just right here, unless WeatherWise is a little behind. Let's see if WeatherWise is a little behind. Do we have any other? We got a tiny bit of rotation trying to get together up here to the northwest of Coburn. Yeah, we're really just watching this right now. Really quickly, I'm gonna go over and I wanna get started here. Forecast models. Let's see what the GFS is thinking. GFS has been seeing some weird things out here in the Western Atlantic. What's going on, Claire? I mean, look at the GFS. Yeah, the new version of Weatherwise is pretty cool. This is the GFS 200 hours out. 2 cyclones moving towards the States. This is doing some crazy stuff out here. We're going to have to see. We're going to get a point of interest probably out there in the tropical Atlantic a little bit from the National Hurricane Center. But that's so far away. That's not what we're watching. We are watching what is catching our attention is GFS at maybe even 190 hours, which is kind of still not in La La Land. Seeing tropical cyclogenesis down there in the northwestern Caribbean and having this system move to the north and making a landfall as a tropical storm or hurricane down there in the Gulf. Again, odds this happens, we don't know yet. A little too far out. We want to at least wait probably 3-4 days on this and see if the GFS is still seeing it. But we could see if the Euro sees anything like this. And honestly, I mean, talk about like not disappointments, but talk about that's not the word I'm looking for. Talk about duds. Like, I don't think I've seen hurricane models get it this bad in like a decade. I was looking at models when I was a decade ago, when I was in college for meteorology, a little more than a decade ago. I don't think I've seen models continuously get it this wrong. So let's see what the icon sees. Not much. The GFS has been really persistent on this, though. It's been very persistent on this. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, if this were to get itself together and make a landfall, that's only about 12 days out. So something we'll keep an eye on. You know, GFS also sees a, you know, major hurricane just floating around out there in the Western Atlantic, and another system, another cyclone off the coast of Mexico. But again, we are not on pace for what most people thought we would be this year. You would expect more with the climate that we have right now up here in the Atlantic, and with the I mean, we have an all-time record hot Gulf right now, all-time in recorded history. Now, this time of year, you usually get more and more storms from out east, coming from the MDR tropical Atlantic. But I mean, with these water temperatures and pushing into a weak La Nina phase, a little bit of a what is going on? Where is everything? But that's fine. We'll let that last. We are fine with that. Eastern Pacific had multiple storms with the run earlier. Let's see. What, 12Z? There's one. There's two. Yeah. I want you guys to notice something. This would be like a Cat 3, Cat 4 hurricane. I want you to notice how quickly the model has it dying off. Ready? It's basically a Cat 3, and it's gone. That's because the water temperatures here are like 80 degrees, and the water temperatures here are like 65. You've got cold Arctic air cycling down, but the equator still getting warm enough. Water's up to about this point. So as soon as it starts to push up towards Baja Peninsula, California, they ain't strengthening. There's nothing up there for them. Look at that. You just can't. They just can't do anything up there. Do I have custom color tables on Weatherwise? I have on Weatherwise. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. Oh, wait. Whatever this one is for velocity. Down here. Amixawf 2PV. Ryan Hoyle for reflectivity. Precipitation type default. Correlation coefficient, Ryan Hoyle. Speaking of that, Yeah, nothing on the correlation coefficient. New severe thunderstorm warning up here. Actually, nope. That was before. Sorry. We're still watching this system right here. We're still watching this storm. About to head through Miami. Again, radar indicated winds at around 70 miles per hour, 2.5 inch radar indicated hail, and a potentially radar indicated tornado. Luckily for us, looking pretty sloppy on the velocity, so I don't think there's a tornado in here. Doesn't matter though. If you're Miami, you should treat it like there is one. It's definitely strong winds and large hail in here, so you could have, you know, we know we have an unstable environment right here, unstable environment. So with enough shear and instability, a system like this, a supercell like this, could put down a tornado at any time. I think it's smart that they have the radar indicated tornado warning for this. Oh, you can't see it? Yeah, I mean, I have like pro and whatever, everything. I just reinvest a lot of the money I make from streaming so I can get that stuff. Oh, is Radar Omega going to release another update? Storm Chaser J, what's going on? A reason I don't use WeatherWise Pro is because of no weather models. Yeah, I know. That's the only thing. I thought they said they were putting weather models in. Although, honestly, I don't know if I want them to put too much into WeatherWise, because Radar Omega started lagging a bunch when they started adding too much stuff and they had too many people on their server. Matt in a Jeep, what's going on? Tough, so you just got to start streaming, making some weather content. Guys, you know, just for a second, again, Miami, Mobile, that's how you pronounce it, Texas. Have a plan. You got a nice supercell moving your way, strong winds, large hail, and a possible tornado. Now, really quickly, I want to take a look at our latest models over here on WeatherBell, because we got quite the pattern change ahead of us. Quite the pattern change. Let's take a look at North America. All right. Here we are currently. And I'll zoom out enough so I can see this. Okay. Here we are currently. Very cold temperatures out east. Very warm temperatures out west. Well below average. Well above average. It's all about the change. Here we go. Cool airs still sticking around out east, especially the East Coast, for a few days. But here comes this heat. This is the latest Euro run. Actually, is this the 18Z? I'll switch back to the 12Z.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
We'll look at that in 1 second. Here comes the heat. And actually, we'll see. You can actually see like a decent upper level low pushing down into the upper Midwest. That's interesting. We'll see what that is. This could cause some severe weather through the Ohio Valley. But as you can see, our just major cool down is gone. There is something interesting that starts to happen at the end of this run, and it's very far out, but this would be this could lead to some very severe weather in Tornado Alley if that were to come true. Now, it's at the end of the model run. We don't know if that's going to come true. What's also weird about what's going on here with all of this cooler air out west and this hotter air out east that's being projected over the next week or so is we're in a positive PNA phase. You typically don't see ridging out west and cooler temperatures, ridging out east and cooler temperatures out west with the positive PNA. So it's a little confusing. We don't have a negative NAO though. Our NAO is neutral, so there's no sort of blocking to hold our troughing pattern in. That's why it's moving out. We get something like this. We're gonna have a tornado outbreak in fall. But again, 336 hours out. I'm not holding on to that. What's our GFS saying? Same thing. We start to get a big heat up. I mean, the GFS is thinking we are like record heat wave as we get into maybe 5-6 days out. as we get into this Saturday, Sunday. Just record heat across the plains and Midwest. Okay, like we're talking 30, 40 degrees, 30, 35 degrees above average. Luckily, if you hate the heat, the Euro is a more accurate model typically. Not always, typically with temperatures. But wow, they have a lot of heat. Both models have a lot of heat settling in. I always say this, though, if you're a winter lover, you want these hot heat patterns. You want these hotter patterns in fall. Because typically after you have weeks and weeks or a month of above average temperatures, there's going to be a buildup of cold air to the north that eventually is going to break. And then the longer that cold air gets to build up and the more ice and the more snow you get on the Canadian surface up there, the quicker it cools down and prepares for winter, the easier it is for that cool air to be transitioned down into the States as we push into winter. So for me, I'm like, please give me a huge heat wave in September, October, because that could signal a good start to winter. But yeah, these models have it very, very, very hot. It's going to be interesting to see if that actually happens. Teleconnection wise, European Weekly, AO, not much happening here. EPO, mostly neutral. NAO, mostly neutral. Again, PNA, this is extremely interesting. We've got the European Weeklies holding a positive PNA, which would a lot of times signal a lot of heat out west, but we're not seeing that. Again, with no sort of negative NAO and no sort of big negative AO, it's kind of a neutral running AO. It's our PNA is not going to work completely by itself. Morgan, I appreciate you. Give me the heat. Sent me giving the heat, having fun. So, but it looks hot for a little bit. I'm not going to be honest. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. So, we'll see. We'll see. I've been looking at the more and more I look at it, the more I think, we have cooler sticking around for a little longer for a lot of people out east. But as we get into the 13th and 14th, the second half of September could be very hot. We might not get another major cold blast until October after we move through these next few days. Will it snow a lot this winter? Weak La Niñas are pretty snowy. I mean, if you just want to go off, but based off what Enzo cycle we're going to be in, weak La Niñas are pretty snowy. So I would say above average snow is a good guess. Spooktober is best time. I love October. It's when my birthday is. Yeah, my weather. I have my winter forecast uploaded on my page. That I do. I'm trying to see, do I have it? I'm looking in I have it somewhere here in my photos too. I was just gonna pull it up, but yeah, I mean, Saudi, Miami, not Miami, Florida, Miami, Texas. Strong, damaging winds, large hail, and a potential tornado are moving through your area. Please, 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 please make sure you are in shelter. Thank you. Make sure you're in a safe spot at your house. Possible rotation out here. It's got a little bit of a sloppy setup. The hail and wind is very likely in this. You can see our extremely high cloud tops. The tornado's question mark, but even if it's a question mark, you should be cautious. You should be taking shelter. This thing is looking impressive. We're probably gonna get a hail size increase in that. Just heading to the southeast to the west of Higgins, Texas. Another line of storms forming up here. Not really heading through anyone. What's going on? Haven't been in here in a while. Charles, what's going on? It has been a while. Gianna, what's poppin'? Sorry, my computer, OBS, the system I use to stream completely, for some reason, just keeps like deleting my YouTube chat off of my screen. So I have to look at my phone and I keep forgetting because usually it's on my screen to read. Yeah, I have that photo. I can bring that up though of my winter prediction. We can talk about it for a second, but where'd I put it? Let me see something real quick. Oh, here it is. Hold up, it's in here. Wait, is it? Thought it was. Oh no, it is. 1 second. It is. Here it is. I found it. There's reasons for this, okay? It's an outlook, okay? If you live... Now, I'll say this. Where's my pen? I'll say this. Things I'm very confident in. This. Weak La Niñas are brutally cold for the northern plains and upper Midwest. So brutally cold that sometimes it actually reduces the amount of snow they get because they have cold core highs that set up and do not even allow precipitation to fall. It's too cold. Like Siberia type cold. Confident there. I'm pretty confident that a lot of people out here are going to see average snow. Say you average, say a ski resort out here averages, I don't know, how much do ski resorts average? 120 inches, 150 inches, someone probably 200 plus inch. You know, I don't know. Around average. I think I'm pretty confident here. I'm pretty confident here. I think these are my three most confidence. The fringe stuff out there is a little tough. This one is a tough call. Northwest is a tough call. You guys could end up getting an absolute... You guys could get walloped with snow, and I could be wrong. That's a tough call, but... You know, there was some thought that went into that. I'm somewhat confident with this. Somewhat. Wouldn't be surprised if we had a big Arctic blast down into Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico region down there. And maybe one very, very large snowstorm for the season because we've got a record warmth in the Gulf. You're gonna have a ton of moisture that's going to be able to be pulled off of here. And you've got, you know, if we are in that weak La Nina phase, which it still looks like we will be, you typically have below average temperatures everywhere except for the southeast, including Texas, Oklahoma. And so you're going to have a good interaction for, you know, at least a few times of a lot of moisture coming off the Gulf and some very, very cold air. So I think Dallas could have a big snow this year. Mid-Atlantic, I think, is going to hit their average snow like they haven't in forever. I'm a little bit questioned on this one. Large snowstorms up in New England. But, again, the only one I'm really concerned about is the Northwest. I'm like 51-49 on this. Not very, very confident. The rest of it, I'm somewhat confident. And then, like, this section here. Not really this section. This section here, I think, could overperform. Specifically down there in Texas. Snow and cold. What's going on, Brett? I mean, how long has it been since we've had a big nor'easter? Nor'easters typically don't take 5-6 years off, guys. It's very rare. So look, the more years you go with that one, the higher your chances are of seeing one. It's very rare if we went through another winter without a big nor'easter. Not to mention La Nina conditions can sometimes, depending on the phase, can sometimes help with that. So a lot of times in El Niños, you have a chance to get more snow down to the south, but it's like clipper snow. B, what's going on? Oops, 1 second. My computer's yelling at me. What about Michigan? Well, you guys are going to be on. I mean, we'll see how cold Michigan stays. You guys could end up being cold with that upper Midwest and northern plains, which would potentially reduce some of your snow. But I think Michigan will have a pretty decent winter. What's Clipper snow? Clipper snow. So you could have snow showers and you can have snowstorms. Sometimes in El Niños, actually, one second. Give me a second, guys. Sometimes in El Niños, what happens is your jet stream ends up holding farther to the south during winter. And when the jet stream's farther to the south, your cool air is allowed to sink a little bit more down here. And then you typically have a more moisture and precipitation down here in the south. What it does is it really, you typically see a cooler winter, a below average temperature winter down here in the south during an El Nino. More often than not, you're a little bit colder than normal, and sometimes you're a little bit snowier than normal with an El Nino. But what Clipper storms are basically, okay, you have just a little surface low moving across, some cold air interacts with it, some of that rain turns into snow, and, this whole area gets 1 to 3 inches. I wouldn't call that a snowstorm. I call it snow showers. Now, what can happen in La Niñas, especially weak La Niñas, when you have, I would say especially weak La Niñas, when you have, I would just say La Niñas in general. When you have a jet stream holding to the north, you can have these big breaks in your polar vortex, or you can have these really amplified troughs dig down, and you have upper level lows that just come hammering down into the south. Very, very, very strong upper level lows. They interact with a lot of moisture coming off the water, and then you get these like land hurricanes, right? Big, big, big rotating low pressure that is being pumped with cold air from the northwest and pumped with moisture from the south and heat. And that's when you get like a foot of snow up and down the coast. That's when you get those big snowstorms. That's when you get nor'easters, when your jet stream decides to kind of dip down and you've got some good heat and moisture out ahead of that. And you get that cyclone, that land cyclone that moves up the coast. We haven't had a nor'easter in a while, but Clipper systems during an El Nino, because you have your jet stream down here, your jet stream can pull this moisture off the Pacific, can pull some of this off the Gulf, and you can have more chances for snow, but typically they're not going to be these 1, 2, 3 feet of snow events. They're going to be snow showers. But again, if you like snow, your odds are better in an El Nino. But I would say if you want to gamble and get a big snowstorm, a big snowstorm, you'd want a La Nina. Look at what happened last year. We were in, it was neutral. It was neutral to weak, but major snowstorm down here. We had our jet stream sitting kind of mid to northern, in the mid latitudes up to the northern latitudes in the States. But we had a big amplified trough dig down there, had a lot of heat and moisture available, and that's when you get that like a foot of snow in Alabama, which is, or a foot of snow along the Gulf. Everything has to be right for that to happen, though. The timing has to be right. Missy Ann, Jasmine, B, Monica, crashing. Let him cook, B. Let him cook. So are those big snowstorms common in East Tennessee? No, I wouldn't say common. We've been in a snow drought for a lot of the Southeast and East in general. It'll fix itself, though. Maryland had some good snow last year. You actually had some good. Obviously, you guys crushed your. A lot of areas down in the South actually had good snow last year as well. Hopefully 6 more weeks of summer in Phoenix. Probably. We getting some Vortex Ridge dips. I saw some sub 999 lows running. Well, it's a little too early right now. It's a little too early right now to, know if we're going to get these big breaks. But, a lot of outlooks, a lot of meteorologists are pointing towards the fact that our northern Pacific is very warm. They're pointing towards the fact that even with that, because your northern Pacific being very warm doesn't actually affect typically your ice up there to the north of Alaska, even though you would think. Here, I'll show you something, guys. I could probably show you on, actually, I'll show you on this. Let's go like this. Let's do this. Okay. Is this our ice as of today? Let's see. Oh, we've actually lost a little bit. Let's look at here. Here's our ice right here. This matters a lot. How much ice is to the north of us right here can really affect our winter down in the States, and I'll explain that in a second. But let's take a look at where our ice was last year. September 8th, 2024. September 8th, 2024. Do we have more or less ice than we had then? Okay, here we go. Ready? There it is. And here's where we are now. Well, we've got more down here, which may be a good thing for us if you want a very cold winter. Let's go back to that. September 8th. I'm getting to a point here. We pretty much had zero ice in here. Moving forward, we've got a good amount of ice in here. If you can get some nice ice through this region up here, that cold air can be transferred down into the States much easier than if you don't have ice on the surface. What can be a really, really strong signal that we're going to have a very cold winter and a very unstable polar vortex is if you've got a kind of surplus of ice in this region. We have a little bit more than we had last year right here to our north. Actually, a decent amount more. And we have a very warm Pacific. Now, you would think, well, you have a very warm Pacific. Wouldn't that take away the ice? Well, no, because our waters are circulating down like this. So, and up like this. So typically, no, you can have a very warm northern Pacific, and your Arctic can still have your poles can still have tons of ice on it. We have a very warm northern Pacific, which is going to cause a little bit of fluctuation if it stays like that with our polar vortex. And the more ice we get here as well, can affect our vortex as well. You know, there's a lot of, I love climatology. This stuff is very complicated, but there's a lot of meteorologists pointing towards the fact that they think we could have like an historic run this winter with polar vortex breaks. It's too early to really, we could take a look at what the stratosphere is doing right now, because your main polar vortex that you're watching is the stratosphere. You have a tropospheric polar vortex and a stratospheric polar vortex. We care about the stratospheric polar vortex though, because that is where the coldest air on the planet is. The coldest air on the planet is not in Antarctica, it's in the Arctic. The coldest air on the planet is at the North Pole, just to the north of us. That's the coldest air on the planet. Why? It has to do with geography. But this is the coldest air on the planet, and at least, well, and the stratosphere, we're talking above the troposphere. If you have a break, or if you have an unstable stratospheric polar vortex, you can have not just that air that you would expect to see at the surface up at the poles, but you can have that air that's supposed to be thousands of feet up, tens of thousands of feet up above the poles, snap and kind of try to force itself to the surface and south into the States. That's when you get these like negative 55-degree wind chills in the northern plains. Now, what typically causes that is when you start to get a high pressure that builds up over the Arctic. Okay? The lower the pressure, the faster your polar vortex is rotating. Your winds around your polar vortex are rotating, and they kind of hold that air in. Think about like if you spin a dreidel. The faster it's spinning, the more stable the dreidel is. But as it starts to slow down, the dreidel starts to wobble back and forth, and then it falls. Well, sometimes, and especially if you have a very warm northern Pacific, you can get heat buildup down here at the surface in the Arctic. Heat, Arctic heat. It's not that hot, but it's warmer than it's supposed to be. And you can begin to warm that stratospheric polar vortex. And what happens then? Well, your winds, your low pressure begins to rise. And your jet stream that is holding in the coldest air on the planet begins to slow. And when it begins to slow, all of that air that should be nowhere near America, nowhere near the States, starts to be pushed down into the States. Okay, that's when you can get these, crazy nor'easters. That's when you can get these crazy Arctic outbreaks. That's what happened in Texas in 2021, where you guys had the big freeze that messed with everyone. There's a lot of people pointing towards something like that this winter. I'm not ready. I'm not there yet. I can see some of the reasons they're pointing at that, and I think it does have a lot to do with the Pacific, our NPO right now. But I'm not going to lie. I'm not completely positive. But our ice, we have something that's a little different than last year. We have cooler conditions here, and we have warmer water temperatures here, and that can cause a little instability. Uh-oh. So, let's get back to that. But, yeah, there's a lot pointing towards potentially some significant, potentially record-breaking cold this winter. We'll see. That could be good for the South if you want to get snow in the South, but we'll see. We need a little bit longer to understand that. Let's go and see what the heck is happening. Why is my computer screaming at me, guys? Let's go figure out. Okay. Let's take a look at what we have right now. Extended tornado warning. 3-inch hail. That is why, can you guys see this? That is why my computer was yelling at me. 3-inch hail. It's destructive damage threat. This is heading to the south towards LaForce. I'll try it. Wesco, Texas. This is in the panhandle of Texas. 3-inch hail. Very, very, very large hail. Clearly, we see a little bit of rotation in here as well. You can see it right there. Radar indicated tornado. Let's take a look here. Radar indicated tornado. 3-inch hail. 9:47 p.m. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Codman, or 7 miles southwest of Miami, Texas, moving south at 15 miles per hour. Tornado and hail up to 3 inches in, or hazard tornado and hail up to 3 inches in diameter. LaForce, Wesco, Texas, Panhandle of Texas, McLean could be heading towards you. Make sure you're in a safe spot. 2-inch hail now, moving down to the south towards Raiden, Oklahoma. This is just out to the southwest of Higgins now. Why is it cold in September in the Northeast? We're going to get a warm up, Robbie. We had a very big, really amplified trough move through. It's going to move out. We're going to be a little bit warm for the second half of September. Oh. Ugh. Oh my God. That was only G Fuel powder at the bottom. There was no water in that. That was gross. Your poking Oklahoma really did work. I know, right? A little bit bigger than golf ball size hail slam us in Kansas last week. Man, the biggest... I've only ever seen like pea-size hail. It's annoying. That's like the one thing I haven't seen. I've seen water spouts. Tornado went over my house. Been in the eye of hurricanes. I never seen big hail. Like, the biggest hail I've seen maybe just over pea size. Can you look at the cell, California North Coast? There's no supercells up here. Just some heavy rainfall, heavy rain showers. Just some heavy rain showers. Sounds crazy hitting the roof of the house. Yeah, I bet. What's going on, baseball mom? You think hurricane season will stay this light? If I said yes, I'd be lying. But I'm also shocked that we haven't had anything really yet. So, I don't know. No, my guess is, and I had a poll on my Instagram today. Let's actually, I kind of want to review. I kind of want to see what that ended up being like. My guess is end of September. I'm saying last 10 days of September, first 10 days of October. That's gonna be our first landfalling hurricane. I think it'll be a decent one. I'm gonna call Cat 2 in the Gulf. You know, again, we're about 25 days away from moving into a weak La Nina, I think, because we need that 3 months of below average in the equatorial Pacific ENSO 3.4 region. But our jet stream should be lightening up. The Gulf is at an all-time record high. All for this time of year, not all time like it's the hottest it's ever been, but for this time of year, all-time record heat. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of things going for the tropics in the Atlantic, and just storms. There keeps being interference, which is a good thing. This last storm, I said on stream, this is 100% becoming a tropical cyclone. And I was wrong. So was every hurricane model. I literally cannot remember the last time the National Hurricane Center gave a disturbance or an invest a 90% chance of forming, and within 24 to 36 hours, the storm was gone, or the invest was vaporized by dry air. I was pointing out how dry that air was around it, but I think I put too much belief in the NHC, and I should have gone with my gut. What state do you think will get hit by a hurricane first? It's going to be a Gulf state, I think. We've got some interesting stuff happening on the... sorry, let me actually speak so people know what's going on down here. We've got some very interesting stuff happening in the Gulf and Western Caribbean. I think we're going to get a homegrown storm here within 2 or 3 weeks that's just going to meander to the north and make landfall somewhere between Texas and Florida, somewhere in there. Our Bermuda high is still so far out to the east. If we get more cyclones out in the Atlantic, I think they're going to be pulled north. There's going to be fish storms, so it's going to be something close to home. We're looking at severe weather right now. We've got 3-inch hail and potential tornadoes on the ground, and a potential tornado on the ground in the panhandle of Texas. Very, very large hail. Radar indicated 70-mile-per-hour winds. Radar indicated 3-inch hail, and radar indicated tornado moving towards La Force and Wesco, Texas. So please get a safe spot. Bottom floor, interior home, away from windows, in a storm shelter if you have one. Yeah. Do I remember Winter Storm Gale, December 2020? I think at the time, I might have still been living in LA at the time, in California. I've moved from California to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Minnesota, all within the last 5 years. Yeah, Cali, North Carolina, PA, Minnesota. So I feel like that might have been a time when I wasn't paying that much attention. If I was in southwestern California, I probably was. Although, I mean, I'm always paying attention to the weather, but I was really watching West Coast weather, which is pretty much no weather at the time. Lila, I got nervous because you were focused on Washington State area. Yeah, no, we're watching this. You know, this is this storm's moving to the south. I'd be more concerned if we had an easterly or northeasterly movement. It's a little bit harder to get rotation when you are trying to get rotation out of the south. But it seems like there's a little bit of an inflow region here, so I'm still a little concerned that this is trying to spin up right here, and it could move just to the east of La Force and into the Wesco, Texas area. A little bit of rotation here. We probably don't have a CC drop, but I'll check anyways. Nothing right now. Looking pretty safe overall. Yeah, thanks, Morgan. Although, you know, I'm going to take a live look really quick at our atmosphere. I was going to do a quick stream tonight. It's a busy week, but Let me take a look at our atmosphere and see if we're expected to continue to see some bad weather tonight. Let's see. I've been getting up at, my alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning, so I can get my weather videos and X posts and Discord updated all before I go to work. So unless something really wild's happening, at least during the weekdays, I'm usually not going to be up that late. Let's see. Services. Mesoscale analysis. Let's see what's going on right now in this region. Change sector. Go right in here. That's what we're looking at. Now let's look at, actually, I'll go down a little bit, I think. Yeah, we can see this right here. Okay. Oh, these are multi-parameter. Most unstable cape and effective shear. Wait, are we looking at surface shear here? Effective layer shear. Okay. So here's what's going on. How bad is it out here right now? Could we still get more storms? Well, 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of cape through here. Effective layer shear is decent. Let's take a look at our SIGTOR. 0.25 to 0.5. Nothing too scary. Let's take a look at our violent tornado parameter. Nothing too scary. Surface shear. 20-25 knots. You can get a tornado out of that. Not too scary, though. Surface helicity, 50 to 100. Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere is unstable, but this isn't like... I don't think... And you guys can see where these storms are moving. Here's our storms. They're moving in... As soon as they get past that line right there, we're in a much more stable environment out here. So I don't expect these storms to... You can kind of see, actually, by the way... After looking at that, when we go over to weather-wise, notice what happens. Notice we have our supercells here. And then notice as they get out to the east, we just have clusters, like a cluster of rain. They're approaching a much better, much more stable atmosphere out here. So I don't think this is going to last, another 2-3 hours. At least, the strong storms. The atmosphere is not too wild over here. What's the weather like for this week in Panama City, Florida? Why don't we just do this?
A new considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
It's just the same one up there. Let's look for this week. Let's look at our 5-day forecast. Well, right now, Climate Prediction Center's thinking you maybe get a 1/10 of an inch of rain over the next 5 days. That's pretty nice. Now, the rest of the state of Florida, well, they're probably going to be swimming to their car in the driveway. I'm half joking. It's a lot of rain, though.
New information. This considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
General thunderstorms today, tomorrow, the next day. I mean, welcome to Florida, though. This is normal. Nothing severe, really, in the outlook. So, you guys should be looking pretty good. Panama, just the fact that you guys aren't expected to receive almost any rainfall, very little rainfall, scattered showers over the next 5-6 days probably, but you're looking pretty good.
New information. This considerable severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
It gets crazy some streams when there's an outbreak. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was talking to Matt about it again the other day. I don't want hurricanes, bad weather, making, I don't want like I really enjoy the science and the, I like severe weather and hurricanes and blizzards, whatever. Like I like that stuff. So I have mixed emotions when there's no bad weather happening. Because it's like, well, this is good. No one's getting hurt. No damage. No property is getting damaged. it's a good thing. But when you're a weather nerd, like when you're a weather enthusiast, a weather geek like me who just loves, who appreciates weather, and who appreciates just the insanity of it. Like, I'm also sitting here over the last couple weeks like, oh my gosh, this has been one of the slowest 2 to 3 weeks in the States in over a year. I'm going a little stir crazy. And I always say, it doesn't matter if I want bad weather or not. I don't control the weather. If it happens, I cover it. If it doesn't, I don't. It would be perfect if EF3 plus tornadoes only happened in cornfields. Well, we don't want, the farmers need the corn, but you know what I mean. I miss when I was having tornado warnings in Virginia. See, yeah, even some people miss when it's not, miss when they I swear people in Oklahoma will go a month without a severe thunderstorm warning, and they'll be like, oh, my God, maybe I actually do like severe weather. The rush. What about Louisiana? Bacon. It was calm. As soon as you do the meme, we get action. Yeah, look at Florida. Oof. Is it gonna rain? Louisiana's looking pretty dry, except for maybe far southeastern Louisiana. For the most part, looking pretty dry. I mean, this is our 5-day rainfall forecast. Look at our 5-day rainfall forecast. This is 0 rain. That's crazy. That's wild. When's the next shot of cold air heading into Arkansas? Could be 17 days. Early October. All right. I do got to get up early, so I'm going to get off. I do just want to remind people what's going on down here. The severe weather shouldn't last much longer. Maybe an hour and a half before these things really start to slow down. We've got a much more stable environment out ahead of it. Could be shorter than that. But 3-inch radar indicated hail, 70 mile per hour radar indicated winds, and a radar indicated tornado in the panhandle of Texas headed south towards LaForce and Wesco, Texas. Not much down here. I almost hope it continues on the same path after that. Mrs. McLean. But take shelter if you're in Wesco and LaForce. Take shelter. Better to be safe than sorry. I do think we're going to have a little bit of a wind down here, though, and that'll be good. This radar shows geoengineering. I don't think it does. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be posting tomorrow. I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll see. The only thing really that interesting that's going on is I'm really interested to see if our models continue to hold on to this mega heat wave to end off September. We'll see if that happens. Or really third week of September. Gonna see if the other globals start to pick up this potential cyclone in the Gulf over the next 7 to 10 days that could threaten Gulf states. And I want to see what happens with our Enzo. It's wobbling a little bit. So, but overall, pretty boring, chat. All right, everyone have a great night. I'll be back on tomorrow. Yeah, if it's your first time in here, I'm streaming 5 days a week, every day except for Wednesday and Saturday, unless there's a hurricane making landfall or a big blizzard or a big severe weather outbreak. I will be streaming on Wednesday and Saturday in those cases. I post every single day. And if you want to join my Discord, it's Connor's Climate Corner HQ. Connor's Climate Corner HQ. Just add me on Discord and I'll add you to the Discord. It's awesome. It's a really cool Discord. It's updated every day. Weather enthusiasts in there. We have a great time. And you could always reach out to me on my Discord off live and stuff like that too if you have any questions. So Connor's Climate Corner HQ on Discord. Add me. I'll add you. As soon as we get to 500, it's going to subscription to get into it. But right now it's free. And if you get in now, it's free forever. All right. I appreciate you guys. Everyone have a great night. Mods, you the best.